very thrilled and honored tonight to introduce Robert and Russ and to let you hear songs from their new CD. And there's some wonderful, wonderful songs on here, and they were graciously offered to give the proceeds of $5 for each CD to Montana Supporting Soldiers, which we will use to send Christmas presents over to our troops. And here is Robert and Russ.
Thank you, Lyanne. Got tongue-tied. We got a good show for you tonight. We're debuting our CD, and it's titled America's Heroes. No, it's titled We the People Remember. See, I got tongue-tied already. But anyway, we put this CD together, and it tells a story from the first song to the last song. And we started off with a song titled Left, Right, and Wrong. And the reason I wrote that song is because I got so tired of all the political stuff, and I said, it's time to quit the bickering and start thinking about our soldiers. And that's why I got that song, and I was hoping maybe, just maybe, the whole country might hear it and then wake up. So anyway, this will be our first song. It's called Left, Right, and Wrong. And my partner Russ there, he's the music man, and he'll be singing some of the songs with me. But he plays all the instruments of this, and he produced it, he arranged all the music. And if it wasn't for Russ, we wouldn't be standing here. So, on that note,
You ready?
I'm ready.
Maestro.
The magic of electronics. Around our country today, it's not a pretty sight you see. And it doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from. This isn't how it's supposed to be. See, it really doesn't matter what side you're on, whether it's the left or the right. If we don't come together, Al-Qaeda's gonna turn out our lives. Our country has become divided and torn and fallen rapidly apart. And for those of us who wear and have worn the uniform, it's like a dagger right through our heart. See, it really doesn't matter what side you're on, whether it's the left or the right. If we don't come together, Al-Qaeda's gonna turn out our lives. Around our country today, it's not a pretty sight you see. And it doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from. This isn't how it's supposed to be. See, it really doesn't matter what side you're on, whether it's the left or the right. If we don't come together, Al-Qaeda's gonna turn out our lives. If we don't come together, Al-Qaeda's gonna turn out our lives. Anyway, that was a song to give a message to our leaders in Washington and our leaders in our state that, hey, left, right, and wrong. Okay, excuse me. Okay, this next song that's coming up is a song I got inspired to write when back at the beginning of the year, this year, 2005, the Iraqis were holding up their fingers in the air with that purple ink on it. And I said, man, that's moving. But right after they showed those Iraqis, they showed a bunch of Marines hugging and high-fiving saying, we did this, we did this. And that's right, you guys did do that. And that was a lot. And I said, you know, God, give me a song that our country will remember what our young men and women are doing because, hey, they're following orders. And yes, they are America's heroes. And it's been a really requested song, and we made up a whole bunch of copies, and we passed them around, and they're all over the place. They're playing on radio stations, and people don't know who we are, but it's the message. It ain't us, it's the message. And that's what the whole song's about, America's heroes. And that's what we're going to do for you now. You are America's heroes, and you'll be remembered in time. You are America's heroes. For us, you put your life on the line. Over 200 years, brave women and men have answered when our country calls. And without these brave warriors, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no free country at all. You are America's heroes in Iraq and Afghanistan. You are America's heroes. For liberty and justice you stand. Over 200 years, brave women and men answered when our country calls. And without these brave warriors, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no free country at all. You are America's heroes. You keep freedom's light shining bright. You are America's heroes. And if someone attacks us, you'll fight. Over 200 years, brave women and men have answered when our country calls. And without these brave warriors, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no free country at all. You are America's heroes. You're the family of these women and men. You are America's heroes. And without you, they couldn't defend. Over 200 years, brave women and men have answered when our country calls. And without these brave warriors, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no free country at all. You are America's heroes. But our country's divided in two. You are America's heroes. Let's pray they come together for you. Over 200 years, brave women and men have answered when our country calls. And without these brave warriors, we wouldn't be here. There'd be no free country at all. You are America's heroes. and you'll be remembered in time. You are America's heroes. For us, you put your life on the line, on the line. The next song that we got in line for it is a song that the host of Voices of the Veterans, Mike Crazy Horse Hankins, says, Robert, why don't you learn this song? You got Irish in you, and plus it'd be a good St. Patty's Day song. And I said, okay. And so he gives me a cassette, and it's got these three Irish guys on it. Like they sounded like they'd been in the pub a little too long, and then they started singing. Da, 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 da. And I thought, well, Mike, I can do that, but I can't do the da 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 da. So I did it in Robert's way, I guess. But it's a really neat song, and what it is a song that it's talks about the Irish and they're rebelling against the English, and how the town folk stood behind their warriors that went off and fought for them, that they lined the roads to welcome them home, and they was so proud of them they made this song of them. And I thought, okay, Mike, I'll do that, and I kind of like the song now too. So, but I've always played it on the show with just a guitar and well, bare bones Robert, but with the talent of Russ, he made the song, and now it's like a ballad, and it's called By the Rising of the Moon.
It's a great squarely tune.
It's a, yeah, what was that?
This is great squarely tune. Squarely.
A sparly tune.
Yeah.
He's got all those accents. When we were doing this song, it's kind of hard to sing when you've got somebody talking like that. Come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, tell me why you hurry so. Hushy bloke, oh hush and listen, and his cheeks were all aglow. I bear orders from the captain, get ye ready quick and soon. For your pikes must be together by the rising of the moon. By the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon. For your pikes must be together by the rising of the moon. Oh, come tell me, Sean O'Farrell, where the gathering's to be. At the old spot on the river, quite well known to you and me. One more word for single token, whistled out in marching tune. With your pike up on your shoulder by the rising of the moon. By the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon. With your pike up on your shoulder by the rising of the moon. Out of many a mud wall cabin, eyes were watching through the night. Many manly heart was beating for the blessed morning's light. Murmurs ran along the valley like the banshee's lonely croon. And 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. By the rising of the moon, by the rising of the moon. And 1,000 pikes were flashing by the rising of the moon. Singing river, the black mass of men were seen. High above their shining weapons rule their own beloved green. Death to every foe and traitor whistled out their marching tune. In a army, boys for freedom, 'tis the rising of the moon. 'Tis the rising of the moon. 'Tis the rising of the moon. In a army, boys for freedom, 'tis the rising of the moon. Now that gallant band of warriors is forever lost and gone, but the memories, oh their glory, gives us strength to carry on. And the God that made old Ireland will hear our marching tune, and he'll bring our land to freedom at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon. He'll bring our land to freedom at the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon. At the rising of the moon. He'll bring our land to freedom at the rising of the moon. Thank you. I know that's a long song. Try to remember them lyrics for me. Only reason I do, if you ask my daughter, Dad, you gotta play that CD one more time? That's how I practice. I'll have to give her some more breaks and not playing it while I'm taking her to school. The next song, Russ and I were in the studios, and he said, "What do your kids want for a song? You know, what kind?" And I said, "My boys want a rocker, Russ." So Russ comes up with this idea and starts playing this song, and next thing you know, we got a song called Hell's Kitchen, and what it is a firefight, along with a story in that firefight, and it's telling you what our men on the front lines are going through while we're over here saying, "I'm right, no, I'm right, no, you're wrong, no, I'm right, no," and that's, you know, it's just a bunch of garbage is what I call it. But we thought we'd do this because, you know, can you imagine you wake up in the morning and all of a sudden it's, "Hey, it's time to go out on patrol, guys." You don't know if you're coming back from that patrol. You don't know if the guy next to you is going to get killed. You don't know what's going to go on it. You don't know. And with all the bombs and the cowards that you're fighting, they don't stand in front of you. No, they put the innocent women and children in front of you. And then they hide behind a bomb that they detonate with a cell phone. Real brave men, aren't they? Yeah. It gives their character. That's what our young men have to fight. Fanatics. People that don't value life at all. So we thought you'd give you a taste of what they go through. And this is a song titled Hell's Kitchen. And Russ is going to sing this one because he's the hard rocker. I get a break.
Yeah, we kind of just wanted to make this song personal and bring people and so you can smell the gunpowder and feel the fear. And I think the way we pulled it off, it pretty much brings it right up to you.
Edwards, get out, get out! Oh, I can't go, over there! Come on, now!
Another day you hit and run, you grab your helmet and your gun and pray for something more than suicide. Your eyes have seen a genocide for days. Remembering the talks you had with friends and former comrades from the days before, of the times you spent with your loved ones you said before the war. While patrolling down the alley, and recon down the road, your senses do the scanning, while your mind gets in the mode. You know you're in Hell's Kitchen. As the locals come to greet you, are they friend or are they foe? The innocence of those memories of the lives they lived before. Now everything you comprehend may lead you to your freedom or your end. A shot rings out from far away, the comet falls and you lose another friend. While patrolling down the alley, recon down the road, and your senses do the screaming, while your mind gets in the mode. You know you're in Hell's Kitchen. You know you're in Hell's Kitchen. Take it on home.
When we were taping that, there's a bunch of kids playing outside of Russ's house, and
Probably adults too.
yeah, adults too, and so I'm in there screaming, get out, ambush, ambush, and we thought, I wonder what those people outside are thinking what's going on inside here. So when we come outside, he was all kind of looking. We didn't do nothing. Oh, now this next song is a very special song. I believe, sometimes I lose my mind in spots, but it was March or April that the president was awarding posthumously the Medal of Honor to the family of Sergeant First Class Paul Ray Smith. And I thought, you know, he needs more than one day of coverage. And so I said, hey God, you gave me one good song, why don't you give me another one? Because this Medal of Honor winner deserves more than one day of news coverage, because that's really all he got. And as I sat there watching that little boy take that medal for his dad, I was thinking of all the times that he's not going to have his dad there at baseball games or the football games or anything that he's going to go to in his life.
Call line one. Folks, call line one. Thank you.
And then I started thinking, you know, I wonder how the kids in school are going to treat him, you know. Are they going to tease him and say your dad was dumb because he went there? Or are they going to say, hey, you know, your dad, what are they going to say? With the way our country's divided, I can give you a couple of good things that they're going to say, and I can give you a lot of bad things that they're going to say. That's why this is so important. Our country needs to wake up and come together as one. As long as we're divided, Al-Qaeda's sitting back there on the sidelines going, hey, we're counting down the days, brother, we're counting down the days. And if they count down them days and the job doesn't get done, and our young men and women come home with no glory, we might as well take the flag down because our country's done. And that's why it's very important we remember those that give their life and save 100 people. 100 of his brothers can go back to their daughters and sons and wives and moms and dads, but not Paul, because Paul gave his life for the men. And you know something? I found out something after I wrote this song, that Paul was a Gulf War vet, and he was hard on his men because he knew if they played around and didn't listen up, they're going to get killed the minute the combat starts. So he played the games, what we call it. But his young men, they didn't want to play the game, and they called him all kinds of names. And he came and told us, said, Birgit, you know, the guys hate me. And she said, you know, Paul, that's just part of the job. Just part of the job. So when you listen to this song, this is what he did for those young men that hated him. Well, they don't hate him no more, because they got to go home because of him. And that's what this song's about. It's titled Above and Beyond, the story for Sergeant First Class Paul Ray Smith. With honor, but he did it for his bros. Paul saved the life of 100 men, and why God only knows. Paul knew his act of bravery might surely be his end, but the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100 men. LT left Sergeant Smith in charge. He knew just what he would do, 'cause if anything was to happen, Sergeant Smith would get them through. Paul knew his act of bravery might surely be his end, but the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100 men. Began, and without any hesitation, to the truck with a 50 Sarge man. Paul knew his act of bravery might surely be his end, but the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100 men. Over the next 90 minutes, the firefight raged on, and after it all was over, the enemy and Sarge were gone. Paul knew his act of bravery might surely be his end, but the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100 men. Paul left behind a family, but his legend has just begun. Because of his act of bravery, the Medal of Honor he won. Paul knew his act of bravery might surely be his end, but the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100 men. But the love and trust of his brothers meant the world for him to defend. Paul gave his life and saved 100